Donkey Kong Country, the fun, innovative, and brutally challenging SNES game that almost all SNES owners love and treasure to this very day. It seems, however, that almost every single video game reviewer type person on YouTube, to some extent, has either talked about Donkey Kong Country 1 or 2. But I've never seen a video game reviewer type person that I like talk about Donkey Kong Country 3! Looks like you're in the same boat, and probably will be after this review. Let's go!
Alright, so the story is... I don't know. K. Rool's up to his old antics. Who cares? You get to play as the super cute Dixie Kong, and the map has this weird free-roaming mode, kinda like Final Fantasy. I don't care for it too much since it's pretty easy to get lost. I mean, it lets you find secrets on the overworld, and once lets you visit the worlds out of order. But it does offer a mercy that previous Donkey Kong Country games didn't have. There's a save spot right here, and you can exit a world at any time and hit it up. In previous games, you need to go through 1, 2, maybe even 3 bone-crushingly tough levels on only 5 lives before getting a save point, so I applaud them for that. So the game starts off and you head over to Funky Kong to give you a vehicle to head to the next levels. But before he does that, he gives you Kitty Kong and says, "He may be a toddler, but if you let him throw you upwards, you'll almost reach the stars. Oh yeah! And if you throw his humongous body, you can smash through the floors of some areas. Hey Dixie, here's your cousin. You can use him as a weapon. See ya!" So how to review this game? Usually I'd go level by level and talk about everything that stands out to me, but Donkey Kong games are huge, and every level has a unique mechanic. It would take a long time to go through each one, so I suppose I'll just talk about the ones that stand out the most to me. But first, I want to address the music and the graphics. Alright, first off I gotta say, graphically, I don't like it as much as the previous titles. The background looks, I don't know, too real, and it doesn't feel as good, and I don't know why, but I think they switched the musical composer.
Which, if you ask me, was a rather unwise decision.
Just kidding, I looked it up. The music was made by Eveline Fisher and David Wise, but I didn't want to waste that pun. The only song that really stuck in my mind was this song. This game came out just 6 months after the N64, so that's a nice touch. So in short, this is not as good as the first 2 Donkey Kong Country games, but that does not mean that it's bad. More like those games are great, and this one is merely good. But hey, I had fun with it, and here's why. Okay, maybe not yet, because there's still one more thing I gotta address. Kitty. He is not cool, I guess, but it certainly defined how I played. So the first thing you need to do whenever you get Kitty is make him the main Kong, for 3 reasons. Number 1, if he gets hit second, you do not want to be treated him yelling like a maniac. Second off is because of Dixie's hair hover ability. The game is slightly easier with Dixie, so it's nice to have her as the backup. And thirdly, Kitty's animation for taking point is hilarious.
Excuse me, I want to drive.
Now to talk about the levels. Not much to say about the first one, except that Ellie is nowhere near as awesome as Rambi. Her fear of rats and inability to kill people with her facial horn makes her useless. With that out of the way, the boss of World 1, Belcha's Barn, is against Belcha. The conveyance of this fight wasn't very good, so I lost the first match, but I won round 2, and I don't know why, but I thought this whole eating, chewing, and belching was kinda cool animation. World 2. They have a tree level, but why talk about that when I can talk about the Pulsar tree level? Not gonna lie, I really like this level. Not too spectacular. In fact, it just has a sense of urgency, and I never got hit by the saw. I don't know why, but something about the appearance, I just love how dangerous it looks. The other level of note from World 2 is going to make me look like a gigantic hypocritical toolbox, but Ellie is kind of cool. If you can get her near some water, she can suck it up and gain a projectile attack. Then we got to go to Archie's ambush. Tough level. I mean, the first few phases are pretty harmless, but that last part, what the heck, man? It's nearly impossible to avoid getting hit with these loogies, let alone the barrel that you need to kill him, and then you get got. And I imagine that this is how the Kongs die too. Dixie is crying and Archie gobbles her up, and Kitty is just yelling at the top of his lungs when Archie begins his feast. Another thing that's really funny is the game over screen. Kitty's all, sorry mom, and Dixie's all, why am I in the frickin' crib? I'm 11 years old, this is bullcrap, mom. Well, after we kill the spider, he drops a patch so that Funky can use it to upgrade the boat, and we can use it to go to World 3 and 4. The first levels are pretty. There's waterfall levels, and you can play as Ellie, and once again, you can fill up her trunk with water. And I think it's really neat how she just sucks it right out of the waterfall. Another cool thing is that on the waterfall levels, you have to jump on these barrels. Shinobi did the exact same thing 7 years earlier. However, I think that stealing from Revenge of Shinobi should be perfectly legal. And then I got to a water level, and I mean, this is the greatest showcase of the music and graphics just not stacking up to the original DKC. The song is not aquatic ambience, and the background is just, I don't know. I give him credit for trying something new and not letting it get stagnant, but whatever. Let's talk about the mechanic of this level. So the whole time you have this as a mafia bodyguard, you feed him clownfish and he takes good care of you, but if you feed him too many spiky barnacles or don't feed him periodically enough, he eats you. Now for the world boss, Squirt's Showdown. It's a fight as Ellie. You just run around this circle and need to avoid Squirt's, well, squirts. Otherwise, they push you to oblivion. I like this boss. It was easy as long as you don't get too greedy, which I'll admit I did. The next world gave me my favorite type of level. Look, it's no minecart, it never will be, but the point is they tried, and it's not horrible. On the other hand, I have no clue what it is. I'm in a sewer pipe on a, I don't know, bumper cart? But it can do something that the minecart never could. Slide on the ceiling. Oh, what a feeling when we're sliding on the ceiling. Not much else to mention, except that there's a fun Squitter level, and then there's the nonsense level known as Low G Labyrinth. I don't know how to explain it. It takes the silky smooth control scheme required for Donkey Kong games and turns it into this. Look, I'd be lying if I say I didn't have fun with this level, but every single hit I took felt unjustified. The boss was Cow's Carnage, and it was a look. It should have been easy, but if you get impatient, you get killed. And he gave me a lot of problems. It's a lot like Squirt. Once I slowed down and played at his pace, he was pretty easy to beat. On the next world, we have a level where you get to play as Squitter while some Kremling takes pot shots at you, or more accurately, crack shots. This level requires some concentration to beat because there's many points where you need to stand still to set up Squitter's webs, but every 5 seconds, you have a shot flying at you. I find it funny at the end of the level. You get to the sign and I can almost imagine the guy just sinking his head and saying, "Oh man, I'm not allowed to shoot at him anymore." And one more comment about the level. I never mentioned it, but throughout the game I've been getting these little bonus games. Grab stars, get through an obstacle course, but they all fail in comparison to being able to take Crackshot's gun and shoot at the enemies that have caused you so much grief. Had another level I wanted to address for one little reason. It's called Lemguin's Runge. Those are not lemguins, they're penguins. Rare cross the line here. But I'll forgive them because they had a level that almost stood up to the minecart fun. Tearaway Toboggan. Classic fun! I cannot complain. Don't know why I like it compared to the weird bumper card level, but it captures the fun and speed of the minecart stage. Give this level a gold star. Now for the boss. Bleak's house.
What the actual jank?
Bleak's house? Why? I don't know what you know about Donkey Kong Country naming laws, but they have a few. First off, all Kong's first name must end with an E sound. All bears' names must start with a B. All levels have alliterative names, as I have actually tried to point out. Belcher's Barn, Archie's Ambush, Low G Labyrinth, Cow's Carnage, So why, pray tell, is this Bleak's house?
Okay, here, listen. I got a free name for you. Bleak's Bungalow. It means house that starts with a B, and I don't need to have a crazy connection.
Anyway, the boss. It's a snowball fight with a snowman. Every time you hit him, he laughs. And when you hit him for the last time, he laughs too hard. Not much to say about the next world. Honestly, you got a rope level that I sucked at, a rope level with a fuse that I sucked a little less at, a level that lets you switch through almost all of your animal friends, and a boss fight with the king of the spiked barnacles on a level called Barbos's Barrier. I wasn't very good at this level. I kept hitting the barnacles when they were closed. Man, I just suck at this game. Anyway, after that, I got to the final world with a really tough group of levels. And man, Donkey Kong Country games are so hard. As I mentioned, I suck at rope levels, and adding a conveyor belt mechanic doesn't help. Also, it forces you to take a hit here. Either that, or you can just die. There's also like a ghost barrel level. Not much to point out. It was fun, and it was cool, but it did cheat at one point. No! Grandma, no! Please! I'm sorry, Grandma, please! No! I didn't mean to, Grandma, no! After that was a little level they like to call Lightning Lookout. This is the worst level. I needed to use like 3 continues to get past it. The first half is pretty decent and you can get to the save point easily. But after that, it gets stupid. After the halfway mark, it gets so brutal that you can die before even getting your Kong out. Alright, so, you know in some Donkey Kong levels, there's a part in the level where you need to just accept that you're going to take a hit. You'll take the hit and keep on going. Seriously, there are like 5 of those in this stage. I hate this particular section. You see, lightning strikes every 2 seconds. If it hits you, you die. If it hits the water and you're in the water, you die. So if lightning strikes right here and you are in the red area, you die. However, the water is also the red area, so you are not allowed to stay in the water, but leaving it is also death. There's also more nonsense in the level, but this is the best example. What am I supposed to do? It took me over half an hour to beat this level. The next level was pretty bad until I found out the secret. See, they push you and you have no chance to fight back. But after switching my strategy of using Kiddy Kong and switching to Dixie Kong, it was easy to land graceful jumps on top of their shields instead of in their kill zones. After that was Poisonous Pipeline. And guess what the poison does? If you guessed that the pink water reversed left and right, you'd be correct. I hate this in video games. Brains were not made for this kind of a challenge.
Dang it! No. We fall so we can pick ourselves back up. Alright, let's try this again. Whoops. I picked the controller upside down. Can you imagine if I tried to play like that? All of my movements would be reversed. Yes!
No joke! After I thought of holding the SNES controller upside down, this stage became a breeze. It's comfortable enough, and my only real problem is that when I got Kitty back in, I'd hit start instead of select when I was trying to switch him in. But after a little while, yo-ho, heave-ho, hoist the colors high! Let's go to final boss. So Cow's come back and he's weaker than ever. He only takes 2 hits to destroy, and they were arguably easier to land than the 6 back on his stage. Well, after that, K. Rulenstein comes out and says that his wife is going to kill him since that robot was made from her best pots and pans and it didn't even stop us. Then we had a fight. Decently tough. Honestly though, the first phase was tougher than the last 2 phases, but it was a fun fight, especially after doing damage and he'd fall into the lightning. After the fight, Donkey and Diddy were saved, and there was actually like a credit roll. That's where I learned Ellie's name. And there were also all these other names, and I got a results screen where it told me that I only completed 47% of the game and that I was a manky monkey.
Well, screw you, game! I went and I beat your stupid lightning level. I even held the controller upside down so I could beat the stupid fish level. And you know, I even came up with a free name for you to name Bleak's stupid house thing. You're gonna call me a mangy monkey? No, no, it's not how I roll. Not how, no. So there's Donkey Kong Country 3. If you love the first two, then you'll love this game. If I were to rank them in order of how good they are, I'd probably go 3, 1, 2. You know, it's still good fun. I'd suggest playing it. It's absolutely great. Alright. I reviewed a Donkey Kong game. Can I be a YouTube video game person now? Probably not. Ding, ding.